All right, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome again to Soul Chat with me. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Abigail Mensah Bonsu. I am the founder of the Moon Goddess Academy and the Moon Goddess Publishing. And you know how I roll with these Soul Chats. I bring in people who just blow me away. People that I absolutely love their work. Their work inspire me themselves as human being, inspire me and empower me. And these are the people that I invite to come on this Soul Chat to share their wisdom with us. So today's guest, and we got a duo here, power couple here. The conversation, you need to tune in. You'll probably come back to listen to it a couple of times. But it started out like the thought that came through is, you know, the writing on the temple of Delphi, which says know thyself. And these words are one of the key pillars in Moon Goddess Academy. Everyone that comes through my academy is about knowing yourself. Because what I know about this is that when you truly know yourself, I'm not talking about what society imprints on you, what family imprints on you, all of that stuff. When you truly know the core of who you are unshakable. You are unshakable, and there's so much that you can do, so we are very fortunate to have, tools like astrology, numerology. All of those give us pieces of who we are. And this one, what my guests today, my two guests today will be talking about, just is incredible. We're diving into embodiment piece of knowing yourself. Astrology, numerology, you're calculating with your birthday, but this is about you, your body, existing here, your natural way of being. So before I dive into this excitement, I would love to welcome Susan and Martin Fisher. Thank you for joining me for this delicious Soul Chat.
I have chills. That was an amazing introduction.
Yes.
And we're really excited to be with you, and we completely and 100% are in alignment with where you're coming.
Absolutely.
It's true. It's absolutely true. That's how I felt when I learned about it, when I met you, Suzanne, and when I did the identification with both of you. That's exactly what I felt. Because I love numerology. I love astrology. I love all that, and I incorporate all of that in my work. This one just stood out. So let's start with this. Introduce yourself. For those of you who don't know you, who are you, my dears?
I'm Susan Bennett Fisher, and Martin and I co-founded a company we call Body of Nine. Martin and I have been together now 14 years, and we've been working on all of that time we've been together. It's based off a discovery that there are 9 physiologically different kinds of people, and once you find out what we call your natural number, we are able to know who you are at the level of your nature, exactly where you're pointing, Abigail. I found out my natural number in 2002, which is now 20 years ago, and it completely transformed my life. Talk about coming out of an unpleasant place in life and then transforming into the place that I've always known I could be. Living my life on purpose as the gift that I am, with that full acknowledgement and permission to be me. And so who I am today is Susan, natural number 6, and I am a powerful leader, and I am a world-class identifier of natural numbers and an amazing partner to my husband. And I have 3 daughters, so I'm also a mom. So many things is who I am. How about you, Ani?
I'm Martin Fisher. My natural number is 5. We'll explain a little bit about what that means shortly. My role in the world as a natural number 5 is helping people understand this newish information, because it's not really that new. It's been known for millions of years, thousands of years at least. But it's interesting that you talk about numerology and astrology and body types and human design, all these technologies, and I'm going to use the word technology deliberately, have value and are valid because we are whole human beings and we are part of the energy world. And as it turns out, there are 9 centers in our body. One of those centers is born active, and we call that active center your natural number. And while not everybody born at exactly the same time on exactly the same place has the same natural number, we think there's a lot of work to be done there.
Right.
Your natural number determines your nature. And everything you said about other people, your parents, because they don't have the same natural number that you do, nor do your brothers and sisters. And the people around you don't share that natural number. So how you express the world, how you move, what you care about, how you build relationships, everything about you is different than everyone around you. And when you know your natural number, peer pressure goes away. You can't be driven by fear. And how you relate to the world becomes your power. And so, as you've said, when you know who you are, you can be you. You know how to go forward. Until you know who you are, you've got no idea where you're starting from. And other people can do their best, consciously or unconsciously, to try and tell you who they want you to be.
I'm like sitting here just constantly nodding because it's all true, and I have been identified as a natural number eight. And, there's a couple of things I love about this number. The moment you said 8, I was like, it's very interesting that it aligns with my life path number, which is also an 8. And then you began going through it and we start talking about trust stuff. And then, I was like, oh, this is where it's coming from. This is who I am, and yeah.
As defined by your body.
Yes.
In this way since you were born. You came out with a knowledge of our natural human boundaries, that they should not be, that we should not trounce over them. And then your parents started passing you around from parent to cousin and you're like, wait, what about my natural human boundaries? It's from the day you were born, your nature doesn't get honored.
And we don't know where the numbers came from. We know where they are in the body because we've talked to 8,000 people. We know what people's reality is because we've talked to 8,000 people.
Yeah.
But we don't know how these numbers were assigned. But the number of times we have conversations, we identify people's natural number and say, this is your natural number. They say, well, that's my favorite number.
Yeah.
There is a knowing that we have in our bodies of this truth.
Same thing with the color. The chakra system and the rainbow are used in chakras are co-located. Then if you turn the rainbow and put the red down and go all the way up the body, that's how we assign the color. So partly from the chakras. So the point is we've drawn on a lot of information, and all of these systems are informing you about an aspect of your being. But this one is all about how your body is informed.
Yes.
And the heart chakra actually holds 3 natural number centers.
Right. So there's only 7 in the classic chakras.
So, but 3 in the head, 3 in the upper chest, the energy centers, and 3 in the lower body is where the body centers are. And the numbers mean things. Numerology, number 9 doesn't change the equation, but makes it bigger. That's how the influences of number 9 in the world. Each of the numbers and the relationship between the numbers, the numerology is very, very well defined. You can anticipate and predict based on the numbers that exist, which is almost the definition of numerology. So this is fascinating work. And we've been lucky enough to work with thousands and thousands of people. But the truth of it is, this is who you are.
Yeah. I'm curious, and I know I've probably heard you guys talk about this, but how did this wisdom gravitate into your lives? Like, I want to know that.
Well, for me, it started with a choice to become a life coach. And I took the Coaches Institute leadership training program. And this, at that time, back in the early 2000s, was integrated into it. In the first retreat, you got your natural number identified. It wasn't called that. But for me, it was so profound in how it explained who I was. And it explained things I loved that other people did not seem to understand, but it gave me so much permission. I said that before, but the permission to be you, it's something we rarely get out in the world, especially at this fundamental level. So I felt so acknowledged and seen and invited to be who I am and bring the gift that comes with being a natural number 6, which is to move the world forward. And I've always had this sense that I had a purpose. And when I found this, it's like, I found my purpose. So I dedicated myself to studying with the people who first noticed the physiological correlation to the Enneagram and learned everything they had to do. And then Martin came back into my life. We have a sweet story of our relationship. I won't do that now, but if you want to know, I'll tell you. But he came back in 2007 at a time where I was completely ready to go full on into this, to studying this on my own. Well, it took a few more years, than 5 years, but he showed up, decided he wanted to join my family with me and my 3 daughters, which was complete godsend, joy, so much gratitude.
Timing was good.
So good, so good. So we reconnected after having lost touch for 13 years. And together we have dedicated ourselves to researching and understanding what this means, developing a way that can be, we can describe it so people could hear it. This is such important information. And I felt that in my bones when I found it out. I think similar to how you did. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
We're the stewards of this work. I mean, we're lucky enough to be perfectly trained. Our backgrounds are high tech and the rest of these things, so we can build the system to support the world taking this forward. This is not new information any more than numerology is new information. The Indian continent's known about it for tens of thousands of years. The Egyptians knew about it. You can look at Egyptian statues from 3500 BC that have the visage and the shape of the bodies. So all we're doing is helping the flow from Sufism through Gurdjieff, through the Enneagram, through the people that found this out. And then Susan and I spent 8,000 people, 10 years, and a lot of research looking at people's bodies, listening to people, to get back to the truth that you're aware of. And as soon as we identify people, people know this. Our bodies know this stuff.
right. Our bodies know it. It's unconsciously being communicated. Yeah. What we said to you wasn't new. It was just a concise statement of the truth of who you are.
That we didn't make up.
Right.
It's a hackneyed phrase now that we stand on the shoulders of giants, but we stand on the 8,000 people that have given us their time to tell us about their reality. Because everybody that has this experience realizes the truth and how important it is for us as a human race
To know it.
to know it and get back to it and to use it to heal past trauma, to heal family karma, and to help humanity evolve. People have said to me in the past, well, are you hopeful? And up until 5 years ago, nope, wasn't hopeful at all. It looked like we were heading to off the Mad Max and the Thunderdome. But now I have hope because we meet people such as yourselves. There's a lot of people that know the truth of how we can help humanity. And just as you are, our goal in life is literally to help humanity evolve. It sounds big, but it's so important.
Yeah. What else is there?
Yeah. So I love how, like in our session, how you identify, because I was like, okay, I've done, I've numerology, astrology, like all of them. Like I was like, I know how it goes. And so I made sure I cleared my mind. I was like, I have no idea what this is going to be about. And I truly didn't. I remember I was sitting there and you told me to get up and kind of move around. I was like, okay. And then it was like, boom, like that. And I was like, how in the world can she just look at my body and tell me something that is so to my core? Like that was so incredible. And this really I love the embodiment piece. I love that this system brings the body online.
Yes.
every
Great description.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. It brings the body online.
It does, yeah.
I feel like
It
every
lines that body, soul, mind thing up because our whole life we're trained to separate our mind from our body, from our emotions, and that they're unique things. And God forbid we have a spirit. So you bring them. This brings them all together and brings it all online together, and that's beautiful.
But that's what we did with you, right? We looked at your body, we looked at your face shape. We had you do a couple of movements to see what part of your body was moving first, and it was your sacrum. And so very clearly at that point, your energy said, hey, you've seen me, I'm a natural number 8. And then we said to your head, you're a natural number 8, and your head and your body
match.
together.
Yep.
And it changes lives.
Yeah.
Everybody we work with, within 6 months, they come back and say, you changed my life. You've made me happier. We feel more in alignment. Being honored for who we are.
I want to reframe that. We didn't make them happier.
No.
They just became happier.
Right.
Because once you start living in alignment with your purpose, I think what happens when people first get identified, they're like, wow, that's a beautiful acknowledgement. And then they start to think about, which lets you weed through what is your nature versus your nurture. And you can start to let go of the pieces of your nurture that aren't serving you.
Yes.
And then because we give you something physical to do for you, pushing your sacrum against the wall and pushing your feet into the ground, or just walking out in nature with your bare feet on the grass, that reactivates your body. So when you lose it, you can recover.
And there's a secret that we don't tell people.
Ooh.
And that is, even if you don't think about it and you walk away and never think about it again, it's going to change your life.
It's still going to change your life.
Because once the connection's made, the only question is, how fast does it change?
We have so many people that come back and tell us stories about, and they don't necessarily even relate it to having had their natural number identified. But we see it over and over and over again. People are never the same after they get identified. And then we joke, we're going to tell you something, and you won't be able to take it back.
Yeah,
but it's good. It's a positive thing.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of getting a DNA activation. Once you're activated, you come online. It's the same thing. It's like once you know, you hear who you are, you're like, it's like you're activated. And what is that new reality? It's like everything starts to shift around you. At least that's how I'm feeling. It's like I'm constantly seeing, especially with me and my son, because I know his too. He's a 2. And being able to constantly just like dance with him. It's like, oh, now I understand why I act this way. Now I understand why he does this and how he receives me. And it becomes part of you. I mean, in a way, it is part of you, but yeah.
It already is part of you. It just gets conscious.
Yes.
You could choose to go there instead of all the other places that you could go.
Yeah.
And the communication body to body, because we all know that a lot of communication is body based. Never mind the words or the tone. That communication happens more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And to deny that our bodies are smart as a standalone is a disservice, because our bodies are very, very smart and they can communicate before we say a word.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do.
Yeah.
And also this clarifies how each natural number uses language. Because the word, one of my favorites is connection and engagement. It's like, that means something totally different. For your son, it's his whole world.
Yes.
All he ever wants to do is engage with you right here, right now in this moment. Doesn't care if you're mad, sad, unhappy, whatever. He can handle you as a human at any time. But for you, engagement is, oh, let's see. I have a project. Who shall I get involved in my project? How am I going to make this happen?
Who do I trust?
Yes.
And are they going to do what they say they're going to do? And if they are, okay, I'll engage with them. But, it's a very different process than, hi, mommy, let's go.
Absolutely.
So and so the way we consider words and connection, relationship, energy, and tuition, they mean completely different things.
Yeah. I wanted to share a story with you guys, especially with my natural number. There's a point in my life, actually a huge chunk of my life, where I wanted to go to med school. So in college, I would shadow doctors. And there was one doctor who was my favorite, but he had also annoyed the crap out of me because he would always quiz me every time I shadowed him. And one time he's like, so why do you want to become a doctor? And I was like, it's easy. I want people to know that their bodies can heal itself. And he's like, I'm just going to be honest with you right now. If that is truly your mission, this is not the field for you, because you will not have the freedom
to do that,
to share that wisdom. And that changed everything. I mean, I felt like my world crushed. But this knowledge of the body, even when I was young, I
always had it.
I knew when I was about to get sick. I knew what foods I can eat or fruits I can eat. My body would crave certain things. Even up till now, it still does. There are times that I only crave spinach or spirulina, and all of this is like, oh, this is not a coincidence. My body, like my connection with my body is real,
Well, and it's so, as an 8, it is so much more than the other natural numbers. So I have a body and I have to listen to my body. But what I do with my body is I feel energy. So the even numbers do work with their body all in a different way, 2, 4, 6, and 8. The odd numbers are less embodied and have a more of an entity experience of life.
Abigail, deep in your soul, you're a healer. Your touch heals people because your body knows what the other body needs to do, and you help that other body do the work.
That's an 8 feature.
That is you. That's built into you.
Yeah.
And anytime, any place, just your touch, and you can pull that healing energy out of the earth. It doesn't come out of you; it comes out of the earth. You channel it into another person, and they heal. don't disbelieve that. And
Right.
I know you don't,
Yeah.
but the people, one of our mantras is don't disbelieve, because we each have magic, and our ability to do what we know we can do has been taken out of us since we were children. No, there's no such thing as the tooth fairy. No, Santa Claus doesn't exist. No, you don't have magic. That's imaginary friend isn't real.
And
No.
then the great attributes and strengths we have, other people don't understand. When you put your own lens onto somebody else's behavior, you're basically misunderstanding them. Because if you looked at your son and you saw how much he wants to engage, you might get worried as an 8 about how needy he feels to you. There is something wrong with my son.
Like,
He
what's wrong?
really is so insecure, you know. And then you start thinking about your son is insecure when he's this shiny, sparkly, bubbly, connective human. And that's happened to all of us, right? That the great strength that we had was somehow made into a problem. Yeah. Not on purpose, just because it was misunderstood.
Exactly. You know what's interesting? For me as a healer, I always pulled, or I felt like I pulled my energy from the spiritual realm. And it wasn't until we did this, I realized, oh my gosh, I've been ignoring my connection from the earth, the healing energy that I pull in. And so now it's like amplified, where those two always come in to merge. But the connection is like, this helps me be me. This helps me get grounded. This helps me bring in more of that, whatever healing energy they need to come through. And so it's just been incredible. It went from one-sided to, wait a minute. I've been ignoring the most important part the whole time, which is being human.
You were only ignoring it in your consciousness. You were still, I'm sure you were still doing
that. Yes. Exactly.
It wouldn't have been working if you weren't. So.
That's true. Yes. So
that conscious mixture, though, makes it more powerful.
Oh, it does. It does. Because, for most states, that spiritual component, the out-of-body spiritual component, is a learned skill, where the ability to draw energy and to ground is a physical skill. You were born with, able to do since you were born.
But anytime you combine the physical with the non-physical, that's how we are. We are physio-spiritual beings.
Yes. So,
and that's one of the beautiful things, that you can learn to activate the others, which can add a whole new level of perceptive ability.
Yes.
And that's where this work just becomes utterly transformational. Like you could be a whole another different, even more highly skilled human than you are in this current moment.
Everybody can.
Yep.
We all have all 9 centers in our body, and the muscles and the bones and the fascia that create the activation are there. Yours is a superpower because you've been doing it naturally since you were born. And then there's 1 or 2 or 3 that you might know very well because of caregivers.
Exactly. Yes.
And then there's some that are like, I don't understand that person at all. What is wrong with them?
I don't want to go there.
I don't like, or you had a bad experience with that natural number. Yeah, I just don't like people that are like that.
That's true.
It really, really increases your ability to be with other people, to hear what they have to say, to receive their gifts.
Yeah, imagine what it would be like to experience the world the way your son does. Right. Even if it's for just fractions of a second. It is actually kind of scary sometimes to put on a different Earth suit. If you want.
Absolutely.
Even for a few minutes. But it is so powerful. It expands the awareness that the world is a bigger place than we're familiar with.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're able to access today.
Yeah. So maybe, is there a short version of, maybe we can go through the numbers real quick, like a quick, like what is not, like a quick summary of each number, so that, because we've been talking about these numbers, and I'm sure people are like, well, what are the other numbers? What do they represent? And of course, if you want to know your number, I have the, a way that you can contact Suzanne and Martin. You have a session with them. This is a very unique type of session, and get your number identified. You can even get your whole family's number identified. So we'll talk about that at the end. But yes, let's do the numbers.
All right. Natural number 1, the movement area is the throat, at the top of not this part, right underneath the chin. The hyoglossus muscles is where the activation point is. Ones soften their eyes. They bring their chin up. Eyes naturally soften and become receptive. And they create a deep, honoring connection where we know we're all okay, and that we're honored and seen. and we're connected to source. We come from source. We're going to return to source. So 1 is about our relationship to our source of creation. 2 is at the upper abs. This is your sun, the top third of the six pack or the abdominal muscles. They expand and become firm in the bodies of natural number 2s. There's also a tremendous amount of movement at that part of your body. Your sun is probably super squiggly. You're like, how can you squiggle at that part? He's always moving. So 2 is about adjusting to be in the whatever will enliven this moment and this connection. And how do I engage with you exactly where you are? And I stay with you as you grow and change in front of me. And that's what 2s are here teaching us. How do we be with each other? 3s, it's from the Manubrium, which is a little tiny bone right here, but it includes the collarbone, the trapezius, upper trapezius muscles. And there's this ability to lift right there. And then they focus. And their eyes are round and focused. And then they focus on you and they smile and their eyes sparkle and they share the joy of creation and relationship with you.
And they inspire you to be your best.
Absolutely. So they're about our relationship at the level of the soul, one to one. And then 4s teach us about how do we come into alignment with ourselves? How do we acknowledge who we are at the deepest of levels? It's in the low abdomen, the bottom third of the six pack again, but the lower abdominals. And then they expand and move from that part of the body. And ultimately, it's about how do we become authentic? To have truly intimate relationships, we need to authentically be who we are. If we showed up here being anything other than Susan Martin 6 and 5, this wouldn't come across in a way. If we tried to be fakey, it wouldn't work. You've got to be you. And being you means knowing who you are at the body level. Being with yourself, coming into alignment with who you are, and then coming back out to be with the world.
It's learning to love yourself. It's a great place to do.
Yeah. That this work gives you that permission.
Natural number 5 is at the top of the head, the back. And it's about how do we provide a path forward for people. Let's anticipate where the snakes and the mountains are on the map and go around them. What is it we need to learn so that we can actually move the world forward? And my personal goal is to make sure everyone understands and realizes and accepts they have a spiritual component to their lives.
And then natural number 6 is the sternum, the center of the sternum. 6s expand their chests. They feel what's going on. They make sense of it, synthesize it, and then they move, amplify it back so that the person or the community can actually feel it themselves. They create that momentum for movement forward towards what's next in greatest service for the universal, from the universal field of energy for the community.
Natural number 7 is the third eye. And people with natural number 7 are here to be the change agents, to help us know what is no longer serving us, to let things go, but also to bring new things in and to reach our maximum best potential. What's good for the world and what's good for each other. How can we change the world to be a better place in every shape, size, and form?
And then 8 is on the spine at the sacrum on the back, down through the legs, the butt and the legs, grounding into the earth. 8s feel the air on their skin. They can identify the individual cells of their body. They can feel the blood rushing through their veins. Anything that they want to feel in their body, they can actually bring their awareness to, and are aware of most of the time anyway. The rest of us have to say, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable. What is it? Oh, I'm hot. Why was I uncomfortable? But it's just the level of awareness is like going from a afternoon ice skate to a professional ice skater. I mean, you're a body professional ice skater. And then 8 is about how do I bring a community together to manifest with integrity so that it will last and be the right thing for the good of all. How do I build trust and manifest solid things that will last?
8s know who has to come together and the best way to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And natural number 9 is on the spine between the shoulder blades. And natural number 9s live in what Star Wars refers to as the Force. It is a place where every birth, every death affects the tides of the Force. And they do feel the disturbances in the Force. They help the Force flow. They're about harmony and balance. And they know that the smallest action has the biggest effect. And they're here to keep us all working together smoothly.
The center of our back is actually the center of the universe that we live in. And they know that as they are a human balance, and that's the balance point. And they know how to create and harmonize and realign energy at a universal level so that none of us feel like anything has happened, so that we're all included and all flowing in harmony.
And they help that universal field keep calm and keep in balance when they can. And sometimes they know that everything we do affects everyone around us. And so their job is to say, hey, things are going wrong, so that we can all help to fix it.
So the 9 come together to make a whole. 1, 2, 3, and 4. How do we be in relationship with source, with ourselves, with each other, and our soul? And once we're in a solid relationship, how do we transform? How do we know what we need to know in 5? How do we know what direction to go and when? How do we know that we've considered everything and that we've done it with integrity? And have we included everything and done it without using force on each other? Or the world, or the universe. So each of the natural numbers offers a gift that the others really can't do. It's like until you learn to activate the other energies, and then you can have a little baby view into what it's like to be an 8 or a 7 or whatever you're not.
And so knowing the people around you, their natural numbers, helps you help them be responsible for their job.
Yeah.
Because you have your job, you're good at your job. Most of us are lucky enough to be doing what I call a natural purpose, which fits in with our big purpose, the one we're living today.
Yeah, and usually when we're not aligned with our natural purpose, we're unhappy.
Yes. And then the ability to say to everyone around you, this is, you know, this is your job. Could you just do it? Please turn up. Because if you don't do your job, there's a big hole. Mm-hmm. So asking everyone to do their job as we're asking each other here is part of, I think, our commitment to being humanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is absolutely a gift to be surrounded by people who know their natural numbers too and witness them in their fullness, like operating. It is beautiful to witness them. And as I interact with them, I feel like their numbers get activated within me, or also get a sense of what that feels like for me. And it's just, it does make collaboration so much easier.
It's fun.
It makes you like people instead of the neck they are.
It, like in business, it just makes collaboration so much easier. In your life, you can actually understand each other, and we can stop trying to change each other to be what they're not, or thinking they're weird or something's wrong with them, right? And it's just such a gift, a gift. So now you know the numbers. Susan and Martin, how do people get identified?
There's a variety of ways, but bodyof9.com, our website, is the place to start. You can get in, do an individual Zoom identification. You can come to Bozeman and meet with us in person. People, that live here get that advantage. You can have a couples identification or with your family. We also offer group identifications. We have a number of publishers, such as yourself, that we collaborate. So the publisher will get everybody in their book identified, and then we include the context.
Yeah,
so,
now that we can travel again, we're actually excited to be traveling back around to Europe and Australasia. Plans over the next couple of years to go and do some larger events where we can identify people in person. There is something to be said for the in-person experience, because the physicality and the ability to see other people transform as their natural numbers identify.
Yeah, it is a fun thing to do in groups. And here in Bozeman, we do a lot more groups and a lot more in person. And then we have our training programs that teach you how to activate all 9 energies in your body. And our next one starts in September. I hope you'll come to that, Abigail.
It's a 3-day course that's in person, because understanding how to do the other natural numbers in your body requires physical interaction, because we need to show you what muscles that you're using, because you're not used to using those muscles. It's actually quite tiring, but a lot of fun.
Yes, very fun. Very a weekend that you come back and can never go back from again.
it's even more life-changing. And our ability to teach people how to identify has dramatically changed, and we've accelerated that too. We've been learning how to teach this particular work over the last couple of years, and the last 12 months, 18 months, we've been really successful and had a lot of our students now identifying around.
It's pretty exciting times for us.
Beautiful. And I know you have books as well, right?
Yes, we do. We have, I show the books.
Yes.
We have 2 books. You can get them on Amazon. We also have a really robust YouTube channel, and most people don't know about our YouTube channel, but that you can get to that from the bottom of our website. There's the links to all of our social media and our YouTube. So we have our 2 books. This one is Body of Nine, Decode Your Physiology, and is all about everything. So there's 300 pages about all 9 natural numbers. And this one is 9 practices for how you become more present. So what do you do once you find out your natural number? How do you use your body to weed through the nature of Earth as a nurture so you can make conscious choices about how you want to live? And that's our first book. And then we have Sacred Redesign also, where we identified all of the authors, and which is how we met you, right?
Yeah. Well, in the container, yes.
Yes, in the larger container. And you weren't in that book. That's right. And so we identified everybody. We wrote an introduction, a foreword, and then we wrote about how the wisdom of each of the authors was presented in context.
Because as it happens, 1/9 of the population can understand you very easily because they have the same natural number you do. Other than that, you need to give them a little bit of help as to how should you be listening to what this person's saying?
Where are they coming from, and what do they care about, and what's their lens? And that's really helpful to know.
Oh, beautiful. Susan and Martin, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys absorbed it. Like, I can't get enough of it. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard them talk about this. I watched the YouTube. I have your books. They're in my containers that I'm using. And it's not enough. Like, every time it's like I'm gaining something new. I'm getting more activated. I'm getting more excited. And it's just everyone needs to know their natural numbers.
We completely agree with that. And we're always learning. We had a natural number 6 certification call today, and we learned more about being a natural number 6. And I've been a natural number 6 for a long time. So.
Any group of people generates more information and more knowledge.
Understanding.
And we all learned something today. I know you did, but we did too, just from the talking and having the energy share. Because I believe, another weird statement perhaps, but I believe the universe wants this to happen.
Oh, yeah.
The more people we get together, the more we push out to the world, the universal field, the more we change the world.
Yeah. So if you're a seeker, you're early adopter, this is the most exciting technology that's out there right now.
Yes.
And that's the exciting part, doing something that's worthwhile and has a demonstrable impact.
Yes.
Positivity in the world.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Come back and rewatch this again. Reach out to Susan and Martin, chat with them, schedule an appointment, check out their YouTube, buy their books, support them, so that we can really spread this incredible wisdom. More people can learn more about their natural nature, their true natural nature. Let us know how you resonated. What are some of the takeaways that you got from this? We'll love to hear from you. But until next time, from our hearts to yours. Bye, everyone.